Hey guys, LevelCap here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. Following months of speculation and leaks, Activision has finally confirmed that Call of Duty World War II is the next installment in the franchise. A worldwide reveal live stream will take place on the 26th. Details are scarce, but we do know that the game is being developed by Sledgehammer Games. They were responsible for Modern Warfare 3 and Advanced Warfare. The studio recently said Call of Duty 2 World War II will be the biggest project ever, which almost certainly means very high production quality, but when it comes to the gameplay, people are still kind of guessing. Is it going to be a more traditional boots on the ground shooter, or does Sledgehammer have some tricks up their sleeve? I'll leave a link to the official website for the game in the video description if you want to check it out. It looks like the upcoming night map for Battlefield 1 NIVELLE Nights will be playable in the FRONTLINES game mode. DICE ran and tested the map recently on CTE with FRONTLINES, looking for player feedback. Along with the test came a number of tweaks to the layout and design of the map. DICE are also testing a screen shake slider. Some players find the shake caused by explosions to be too excessive, so being able to turn it down is nice. There's always the argument of it leading to balance issues if some players turn their slider all the way down versus players that leave it at 100%. But the difference is very minor. You also can't turn screen shake completely off, as the minimum value of the slider is 30%. The latest update to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds brought new content and better performance to the game. Like we speculated in last week's video, the Vector SMG was added. Its high fire rate and raw damage per shot makes it a great close quarter weapon. Also added was the motorbike with a sidecar. The crossbow makes its return to the game as well. Frying pans also now block shots from all weapons, so if you want armor for your butt, make sure you pick one up. Other new content includes different paint jobs for the Dacia, a ballistic mask, and a 2x scope. As for the performance improvements, they actually are pretty significant. Frame rates in cities are also noticeably better. Before the patch, players struggled to hit about 30 FPS when in a city or looking at a city. Overall, I think I'm seeing a performance boost of at least 10 frames per second on my system, which is significant. Obviously, there's still plenty of optimization left for the devs to do, but it's a great improvement for the first performance-focused update to the game. The patch also adjusted foliage, so turning it down to very low doesn't completely remove elements like grass and small bushes. Unfortunately, it still only renders to around 100 or so meters before it disappears, which is something I hope the devs fix in a patch soon. I could see a lot of players thinking that they're actually hidden in the tall grass when from long range they're totally exposed to somebody with a powerful optic. Star Wars Battlefront 2 will be making some fundamental changes to the gameplay when compared to Battlefront 1. Heroes and villains won't be battle pickups anymore. Instead, you'll be able to spawn them like in Battlefield. Unfortunately, if you spawn in a vehicle, there's no way to exit it unless you get shot down or the round ends. As for combat, blasters are going to be significantly more difficult to master. In the first game, you could be super accurate with most weapons, especially in third-person view. Battlefront 2 will make ADSing more important. That should add a little more complexity to the combat. When it comes to destruction, DICE aren't implementing anything like what they've done in Battlefield. There may be some destruction-based events like Battlefield 4's LEVELUTION, but there are no details beyond that. As for the buddy system, that will be replaced by a different system entirely. Customizations was a big weakness of the first game. Battlefront 2 uses a class-based character system now, like Battlefield, and each class will have its own progression system. Heroes and vehicles will also have unique progression systems. There will be way more cosmetic content to unlock. Loadout, weapons, vehicles, and hero customizations are all up in the air, but we can expect more details to be released alongside actual gameplay footage during the EA Play event in June. Finally, the campaign for Battlefront 2 is being co-written by the guy who wrote Spec Ops: The Line, and that game was actually pretty well received for its campaign. The trailer for Battlefront 2 shows the game's protagonist as a soldier of the Empire. In Spec Ops, you played as a soldier that is definitely not the good guy, so this writer has some experience writing stories from the bad guy's perspective. He's been pretty good about making you care about the bad guy without painting them as some sort of anti-hero. Hopefully this means Battlefront 2's campaign will have some real drama to it. In a recent interview with GameSpot, Overwatch's game director Jeff Kaplan confirmed the game will only have 3 to 4 heroes added per year from now on. The reason for this is multifaceted. Blizzard wants each new hero to have a quality storyline, balance well with the existing heroes, and not take up so much development time that the other heroes get neglected. What makes Overwatch so appealing is each hero feels distinct, but there's still a hero for everyone. Watering the heroes down with a bunch of heroes that are all kind of similar but slightly different could get kind of boring, so I get what Blizzard is trying to do. If their goal is to keep the game interesting, they've been doing a pretty good job of it so far. New gameplay footage from Middle-earth: Shadow of War has revealed the game's skill tree system to be much deeper than the first title. Instead of just unlocking skills, you'll be able to unlock additional modifiers for each skill. The footage shows off modifiers to Elven Agility, Brutalize, Poison Tendril, Wraith Chain, and Deadly Spectre. Each modifier adds another layer of complexity to the base skill in a way that has an immediate effect on the gameplay. Deadly Spectre's modifier, for example, makes it so in addition to attracting enemies to your position, you can automatically attack and kill them when they get close enough. Shadow of War is a much bigger game with larger levels and more enemies to deal with than Shadow of Mordor. The extra abilities help scale the gameplay with the increased depth and complexity of the game world. The Division's latest patch is currently available for testing on the game's public test servers. It makes minor changes to pretty much every facet of the game. In particular, the most recent DLC mode, Last Stand, received a ton of tweaks and bug fixes. Currently, the patch has no release date for the retail version of the game. Rainbow Six Siege also received a fairly sweeping patch. It includes balance changes to Glaz, Montagne, and Echo to make them slightly less powerful. Several other operators received bug fixes for various issues. One issue that wasn't fixed, however, is Hibana's HEREOES bug. The gadget pellets randomly refuse to detonate, which isn't intended. The devs identified what causes the bug to happen, but haven't been able to fix it with minor patches. A fix for this issue is expected to deploy with the Season 2 update once they've had a chance to rebuild the back-end design of the gadget. Anyway, that pretty much covers what's been going on this week in the first-person shooter world. As always, I hope you guys learned something and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.